Hello, Parrot Bliss. In this video, let me try to adjust it. In this video, I'm hoping to keep the peace with Cammy, Hermione, and Annie. We've got a Harlequin Macaw, a Senegal, and a Parrot here. In this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about perches. And Cammy's stepping on the perch. A lot of cages come with either a wooden dowel that's like perfectly cylindrical, or a plastic dowel that may have little lines in it, but it's perfectly cylindrical. And the thing is, these are some amazing feet that I think are called zygodactyl or something like that, because parrots have the only feet where they can grab things. And the reason they can grab things and feed themselves is because two of their toes point back and two point forward. So it's kind of funny. I keep wondering, part of me wants to put paint on the bottom of their foot and do a footprint to see what it looks like. Because, it's not the usual 3 up and 1 down, the little sort of iconic birdie print. And I kind of wonder what theirs would really look like if you really did it. But anyway, so it's really important to make sure that you let your parrot's feet really get some exercise and not just grab at one constant size on their perch, but at different sizes. You will actually find the same is true for you. You can't always wear the same shoes. If you do, your feet just get so tired. You really want to be able to flex your feet, flex your muscles, and the same is true for the birds. Hey Rebecca, you know what? It's not hot. We're having this fantastic day. Yesterday, a storm blew through, and it knocked the power out for 4 hours, and it was all cloudy, so it was kind of dark, and just kind of crazy. We were lucky because we didn't have any damage or anything. Some of our neighbors had their lanai screen broken, but anyway, the storm seems to have made all of the humidity go away, so we're having this fantastic day today. It's been really nice. So you want to make sure that your parrot has a perch, and what you really ideally want is a perch that is going to change in diameter. And something like this is going to give you a really good idea. Here it's thinner, and over here it's thicker. And of course they're going to bite at it. And if you can find a branch that is safe, and generally speaking, fruit branches are safe, they like to eat the bark, and that's very natural to them. Nothing wrong with it at all. Actually, that's one of the ways they deal with the lectins or the poisons, the plant poisons in food, is there's 3 things they eat: bark, dirt, and I forget the third one. Oh, hi, sweetie. Hi. Oh, are you cuddling? Mwah. So there's nothing wrong with them eating the bark. That's actually going to be good for them. And it's good, really good for their beak. But can you see how this one really changes in size? I mean, it's natural, of course. So for that reason, when I do PVC, I try to use the vet tape, and I deliberately try to wrap it so that some parts are a little thicker and some are a little thinner. It's not ideal, and I was using rope for that reason, because I was able to sort of make the diameter more different with the rope. But I realized that, if they poop on it, which they will, it'll get in between the rope, and I don't feel confident that I can really get it clean. So now I'm using the vet tape because I figure I can, just take it off and wash the PVC, which, is just really easy to wash, and then just put new vet tape on. So again, not ideal. I like giving them these branches much better. When it comes to the diameter, though, one of the things you want to look at is whether your parrot has really big feet, like Cammy here, or really little feet, like my poor Annie, who had to go hide behind my back because Cammy's right here. when a parrot is grabbing a perch, their foot shouldn't go like so far around that the toes could come back and touch. And it also shouldn't be so big that like they can't really grab on good. The ideal diameter for a perch, that can also vary some, but the ideal diameter is like about 3/4, where they can kind of get a really like a good grasp. You know what I mean? So that about 1/4 of it, maybe they can't get their foot all the way around, but they can do about 3/4 of it. Again, like if they can get all the way around, they can't, that's too much for them. And if it's so big that they can't really grab on good, like, you know, like it's hard for me to really grab my arm, then that's a little too big. So ideally that you want them to have a nice comfortable grab as I have feathers across my face. Oh, Annie's back. And ideally you want wood that you can clean, and you really want it to change sizes. It's just going to be better for their feet. The wood is also going to be softer for their feet. Most parrots aren't going to have problems, but my Lorenza has calluses on the bottom of her feet. So like if you look at the palm of her feet, so to speak, she has these black calluses. And the vet said that basically if the birds get a callus like that, and she said it's probably from like metal, from hanging out on a metal cage, she said it doesn't feel like it does for us. Like their skin can get thin, and she says it doesn't grow back. So I think it's kind of important so that they keep their skin good and healthy, and they keep their muscles good and healthy. And this is Cammy. If you watch my videos, Kailani, my Catalina macaw, developmentally, one of her toes faces forward, so she's got 3 toes forward and 1 back. And one of the things that happens is that she doesn't sit on a perch, therefore, correctly. Like, her foot can't grasp it quite the way it should, so she kind of like has to grasp at a funny angle. And because of that, she's getting a callus sort of on the back of her foot. And there's just nothing I can do about that. I asked the vet about trying to correct her foot, and the vet said it would be like several expensive surgeries and like not worth the pain. What would be toxic? You know, Rebecca, I don't have a good breadth of what plants are and are not toxic. And of course, I think one of the things that happens is that people tend to learn what branches around them are and are not toxic. I've heard horror stories. I had a shop owner tell me that, you're okay, Annie. Oh! That he sold a cockatoo to a man, and the man, you know, like a $3,000 bird, and that this was, I don't know how long ago. And he got the cockatoo some branches, and the bird died. So he got another cockatoo. And the same thing happened. Gave him the branches, and the bird died. And so, like, then they figured out that he was giving them branches that were toxic. But I mean, it's tragic because he killed a couple cockatoos, and you know, I mean, and it cost him a lot of money. Obviously, it's not what he wanted to do. So the difficult thing is, I think you really have to kind of get to know what's in your area. Generally speaking, fruit trees are okay. Now, one thing I don't understand is, I feel like in nature, I don't know, I mean, maybe the parrots teach each other. This one's toxic, this one's not. But like otherwise, there's no signs. This is toxic, don't eat me. Or maybe there's signs and we don't know. I mean, you know. But I kind of feel like in nature the parrots figure it out. But they are captive. And so, I don't know, maybe they don't get taught from the flock. But what I do is I test. If I have something new, I give them just a little bit, and I only put it like in one cage, and I'm kind of really mindful. And I mean, I'm paranoid. I'll put it in for like an hour, and then I take it out, and then the next day I'll put it in a little longer, and you know. But like I don't want to have any problems, and I tend to be like overly cautious as much as I can with my screechers here. So, So I'm really, really cautious. You can totally look it up online, and it'll say online. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Yes, I think you know, parrots are just, they're always so beautiful. They're just gorgeous. You can look online to see what branches and what trees are going to be toxic and not toxic. But my complaint about that is, number one, you go to Home Depot. I went to Home Depot once. Maybe it just happened to be this time. But I'm looking at the plants because I wanted to get plants for my parrots and like maybe put them either near the cage or in the cage. But the plants I couldn't always find the name of the plant. Or they'll have a common name like, I don't know, spider plant. And like spider plants, those are not toxic. You can use spider plants for your birds. But I don't know the scientific name, and a lot of the web pages that have a list of the plants that are toxic and non-toxic will have like a name of the family or something. I mean, you know, it's sort of like there's an infinite number of plants, and there's this huge, you know, they have a huge list of toxic and non-toxic, but it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. So for me, I have found it to be a little difficult. I still do it. I still try. I've kind of figured out what plants my parrots can have. And ironically, I'll show you in a second, I have, can you see it? You can see it. Okay. I have an elephant plant, and it's right back here if you can see it. And that, of course, is not the scientific name, but it has just these huge, like, almond-shaped, beautiful leaves, and variegated leaves, so that they're two colors. They're really pretty and toxic to parrots. So I was, like, really uncomfortable having them back here, but I've had these plants longer than I've had my parrots. This guy, I brought him with me from when I used to live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I've had him for like I've had him for, I don't know, 7, 8 years, and he's had babies, so several of the babies are out front where the parrots don't go, and I do have these two back here, and the parrots don't go. They don't bite it. It's not a problem. I bought a palm for them, and I let the palm be right by their cage, and they bite at the palm, and they play with the palm. So, I don't know. I don't know if parrots are smart enough. I mean, they're super intelligent. So, oh good, you could see it. So, you know, they might be smart enough to figure it out. I don't know that I would want to risk it, and I've really watched with the elephant ears, but it's something where you just want to be really careful and, you know, and just be cautious and just give them a little and test it. Now, I do know that, Rebecca, you're in California, they, what's it called? Hibiscus. Hibiscus plants are okay. You can give them the flower, you can give them the stem. The spider plants are okay. Palms. I think there's one kind of palm, and because there's, like, one thing about California is, I don't know if I don't remember right or what, but I feel like there's only a few kinds of palm trees. Here in Florida, there are so many kinds of palm trees, it's amazing. And so there's like one kind of palm tree that I think we don't have here, that's poisonous, but generally speaking, like all the rest of the palms are okay. So my understanding is you can give a parrot the fronds, you know, like right here. You can give them the seeds, you can give them a coconut, and different palm trees kind of have like different seeds and different nuts, walnuts and coconuts, and my understanding is all that's fine for parrots. But I'm really cautious. I mean, my mentor told me, like, you could basically give them anything on a palm tree, and I still won't do it because I just don't know, and I'm like, oh, what if this one's not okay, and you know, and I've, unfortunately, one time I had a parrot get lead poisoning or metal poisoning, and I just don't want to go through that again, and that's why I'm super duper cautious. Okay, let me read the comments. And tree climber, I say they all. Oh, cool. Is it Joel or Joel? He says that he, that's true. You're cool. You're a tree climber. He said that he comes across branches that can be used or trees that can be used. So, and it's in the comments. You can always contact him because there's nothing better than getting, just paying the shipping and getting branches and stuff for your birds. I have learned what I can get when I go for a walk around my neighborhood, and right now, because of the storm, I think, there are some branches out, and I like using these. Some of my cages have a play top, and I will adhere this to the play top. I like it better than the, just the plain dowel that the play tops come with, because the plain dowel is just, it doesn't vary in shape, and you really want that shape variation. Barbara, you're in Missouri. I'm in Florida. I'm in basically West Palm Beach, Florida. More specifically, I'm in Royal Palm, but basically West Palm. So southern Florida. We're cotton. It's like paradise. But right now it's good. And, it's really funny. People always say that it's too hot and humid here. I'm like, you know what? Everyone lives in an air-conditioned house. They get into an air-conditioned car, and they used to go to air-conditioned restaurants. Back in the day, before the pandemic. Yes, palms and hibiscus. And so basically, I still would give things cautiously because we all have basically the same kinds of parrots, but there are 350 to like 402 or something like that species of psittacines, which is parrots. That's a lot of different species. And so I think that generalizing for like all 400 is pretty crazy. And the number variation depends on how you categorize them. But, so like hitting categories for all 400 is pretty crazy. So I'm always cautious because, the other thing is you have to make sure that whatever you have isn't being sprayed with toxins kind of thing. So I'm always cautious about what I give, and that's why I'm kind of, sometimes I'd rather give just plain pine from Home Depot, and that's always flat. But, sometimes I'm more comfortable with that, and I just do what I'm comfortable with. But you can see, I've figured out what I'm comfortable with around my neighborhood. And I get different sizes for my different birds. I wonder where Annie went. Oh, she's up in the palm. I'll have to see if I can show her to you. My little parrots, even something like this is actually, this might be okay, but it gets too thin for them. But it's funny, they like it and they bite it. They love biting it. And then sometimes I get really thick ones, and it's just a matter of what's available. But they all use it and they all love it. Yeah, Florida, Barbara, Florida, I can't say enough about it. I love it. We've lived here for 6 years now, but I'm originally a California girl, like Rebecca. So, yeah, and Rebecca says Home Depot is hard to beat. It is. It really is. It's just that it doesn't vary. If you do wood, you could like really make it different diameters, I suppose, but not I. In Florida, it's a great place for birds. First of all, we have avian vets and exotic bird stores. Second of all, I love this weather. I did snow. Don't like winter. Really didn't bode well with winter. Okay, I'm going to see if I can show Annie to you, because she flew up into the palm. Let me see if I can get her. Oh, I don't know. Can you see her? I think I can see her there. They just naturally love to do things like go into the palm trees, but they never go to the elephant ear, thank God. And as a matter of fact, if you look, I've got the cockies and the budgies out. I call them cockies, the teals, the cockatiels. And Milo's also out on top of the cage, just hanging out. So, yeah, the changes in the perch sizes, it's really good for them. It's just like us. One of the best roads I ever walked on was in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico. And it's a cobblestone street, so that like nothing's even. And people that live there buy shoes that really give. Oh, you're right in my ear. So like as you're walking, your feet, it feels like a massage. And you know, our birds just have to do the same. And you know, you can't always do everything for your parrot, but the more you can do, the better. And it always feels really good. Oh, good, you saw Annie. How cute is that? Now I have to try to get her down. Actually, she's my most tame baby. She's my 5-gram Annie, the baby that I had to pull out. And you know, I sold her brothers, but I had to pull her out because we had been feeding seeds, you know, giving seeds to the parents, and they filled her crop with seeds, and that'll kill them. So I had to take over and feed her, and she was 5 grams when I started, just an itty bitty naked little thing, so small I could hardly feed her. But for that reason, she's super tame, even though I don't spend a lot of time with her, so I'll be able to pull her out. You know, Rebecca, yes, Mexico is beautiful. We used to love going, but that was before we had parrots, and also before the pandemic. And I don't know if you've ever been to San Miguel de Allende. It's beautiful, it's magical, love it there. Would love to go this December, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. All right, we're going to go over and out here. Thank you for joining us. We love you. And if you haven't joined the Parrot Bliss flock at #PBFlock, the Facebook group, please join. And don't forget to get a copy if you want the hardcover. I still have to get the ebook up. The hardcover of Parrot Bliss. It's available on Amazon. We will see you probably tomorrow. Have a wonderful, for us it's evening, for some of you, ooh, I'd love to hear what it is. Rebecca, for you it must be, I think it's around 6 or 7. Ooh, I gotta go feed the babies. 6 or 7, so 3. Mwah. See you next time, probably tomorrow.